Hi guys, welcome to week 6. I'm going to briefly go over what you're going to be doing this week. So Monday, I want you to get started on your peer review for project 1. So if you haven't already done this, go back to where you posted your own project 1 and your draft of it. And basically, just like we do with the discussion boards, you're going to end up responding to the person who posted before you and the person who posted after you. So go in there, download the paper before your post and the paper after your post, and then do your peer reviews for those two people. Before you do your peer review or even start it, I would really want you to watch the peer review guideline and refer to the guideline that I posted before as well as you're going through this, right? Really try to make sure that your commentary is positive, constructive, encouraging, and very clear about what you're experiencing and what you're thinking when you're reading these different things. Because one of the hardest things about doing a peer review really is communicating what your experience is as you read something and giving your partner the kind of information they need to like make their paper better and more readable and more understandable. Um, and so what I see is a lot of comments that could be misunderstood or understood in like two or three or four or five different ways. You know, like if you just circle a paragraph and you say, this is confusing, like, well, okay, what about it is confusing, right? So you want to be um, as specific as possible. And that gives your partner a way to say, like, oh, okay, cool, I can see what they're saying and I know how to fix it. Um, so definitely watch that video before you even get started. And then you need to read Writing Today Chapter 2, or sorry, Chapter 20. And like also, that's something that I would try to get done before you start your peer review because it should help a little bit. And you can, if you want to, for extra credit, do a discussion board post about what you've learned by analyzing advertisements and stuff. Okay, again, that's extra credit. If you don't have time to do it, don't worry about it. However, if you've missed other discussion board posts and stuff like that, then I would try to make time to do the extra credit because it'll make a difference, right? So between Monday and Wednesday, I just want you guys to be focusing on your peer reviews and focus on giving your peers like the best feedback that you can possibly give them. And the clearest feedback you can give them. And Wednesday before midnight, you just have to submit your peer review. And again, go to that their original post in the discussion board and reply to their post and attach your peer review as an attachment. And if you have trouble with that at all, like if there's any like technical issues that you run into, get a hold of me and let me know. Preferably on Remind. I've had a lot of luck responding to you guys pretty quickly on Remind. And then as soon as you can, read your peer reviews that you get from your peers and begin revising your project 1 based on the comments you received from your peers, right? And this is not a thing where you have to like change everything that they suggest. Like I'm not going to look through there and be like, oh, you know, your peer said that you should capitalize the word the, and you didn't do that, so you're getting an F. It's nothing like that. It's just a thing where I want you to like definitely read their feedback, try to make sense of their feedback, and you don't have to necessarily do what they have suggested if they are making suggestions. But a lot of the time when somebody makes a suggestion, even if following through on that specific advice is not right, there's other changes you can make right there that'll kind of clarify what you're trying to say or provide a more like streamlined like reading experience. So that's how I experience peer reviews as well. Like I will get a lot of feedback, and a lot of it's very specific. So you need to do this, this, and this. And a lot of the time, I don't use that feedback at all. But the fact that they are giving me feedback about that specific area tells me there's something wrong there. And so then I can kind of like take it apart and think about how to make it smoother or better. Also, for the record, like try not to give your peers instructional sort of feedback. Like don't say like this needs to be capitalized and this sentence needs to be deleted. Like try not to do that. Try to like pose your thoughts as questions, pose them as experiences, pose them as like, hey, maybe if you did this, this part might seem a little more cohesive. Or like if this was my paper, I would write this in this way. And even that's a bit on the nose. Like try to follow the guidelines that I have posted there. And just be as gentle and as like non domineering as possible because like ultimately this is not your paper, right? And you're not going to fix anybody's paper for them. The best thing you can do is give them paint a very clear picture of like what you experienced while you're reading it. Yeah. So then on Friday, your project one is due. So you will have made changes based off of your peer reviews. Um, and if you want to, you can do the discussion board, and that's extra credit, where you would respond to two classmates of what they said on Monday, right? Um, I don't have your assignment thing in here. Okay. So by Friday, you'll have in here another box that says assignment. It says project one, and it'll be a Dropbox. It'll be something kind of like this. You can just like click on, and that's where you'll submit your final essay. But what I really want, guys, is for you to submit your final essay to me, like your draft that you've made. I want your your original draft, your final draft, and I also want a link to your website because I want you to post your paper on your website. And this is where this gets really complicated. But maybe not. Complicated because everybody wants to use Google Docs so desperately. Like it is my students' deepest desire to use Google Docs, and I'm telling you right now, do not do it. Okay? If you use Google Docs, I will not give you credit for your work until you take it out of Google Docs, because this created a huge mess for me last semester and a huge mess for a lot of my students. So don't use Google Docs. Take the time to figure out how to post your final draft onto your website as text that is embedded, right? That shows up on the website as text, right? So it shouldn't be a document that I have to click on that then opens something else. It should show up as part of your website. And if that doesn't make sense, please message me. I had students last semester trying to learn like HTML code and stuff like that. And you don't need to learn how to do HTML code, okay? All of the platforms that you are using have it readily available so that you can like take text and put it on your website where people can read it, okay? And that's all I mean by that, is that it shouldn't be a clickable document or anything like that. It should be part of your website, and it should show up as text on your website as soon as I open it on the page, right? So you'll have a project one page, and then you'll have your essay. If you want to, and if you have time and you feel inspired, you can make it super snazzy now and get some of your portfolio work done, right? So by the end of the semester, you're going to submit a final portfolio where I'll ask you to have like links, videos, images, all kinds of stuff incorporated into your portfolio to kind of like showcase the work that you've done, right? So if you have time now, you can do that. You can add links and videos and all kinds of stuff like that to kind of like make your paper look better and make it look more engaging as part of your website. But the bare minimum is that it will be on your website, and you will have a text that shows up as part of the website rather than as a clickable link or a Google Doc or something like that. Okay. So I wanted to show you guys a couple things. When you submit that, I want you to follow Mla Format, right? So you'll create a document that has your name, right? Your instructor's name, the class title, yeah, date of submission, whatever that is, okay? And then you'll have here the paper title. And if you don't have a title, you could say project one, right? But I would much rather you guys had titles because that's important stuff to think about. And then you just put in whatever the URL is to your website, right? So that I can click on it, right? And so this will be like wix dot blah blah blah, or you know, Google Sites or whatever it is, right? And then I'll be able to click on that and open it, and it should go preferably directly to project one. But if it just goes to your home page and then I have to navigate to project one, that's also fine, as long as project one is somewhere there and I can actually find it. Okay, so do something like this when you submit. Okay, so again, you will submit your original draft with your peers' comments on it. And I guess that's two drafts with your peers' comments on it. your final draft and your MLA formatted page with a link to your paper on the website. Okay. And no Google Docs. Okay. No Google Docs. I'm gonna send out an announcement about it. Like no Google Docs.